Black Man, White Woman. Significantly, it was not entitled Black Woman, White Man because in the last 10 years, the statistics indicate that there is a significant increase in relationships between black men and white women and a significant decrease in relationships between black women and white men.
So, hello guys, it's been a minute guys. I've not been uploading video for quite some time now. Yeah, I have my own reasons for that. But today I have something great and I have something nice for you. First of all, I am having a host at my channel here. Brother?
My name is Eugene / Eugene from Kenya. You can find me on all social media platforms.
Yes. So today we are going to discuss about a topic that we find very interesting, and everywhere we go in Africa, as right now as I'm living here, I'm seeing it happen, you know. And you know, African men don't love their fellow black women, and there's a weird relationship that exists between the African man and the white woman.
Yeah.
And brother, what do you think of this? Why do you think African men prefer or admire white women than their own black women?
First thing I'll say that you know, we have a number of considerations to talk about when we see people's perspective on things to do with the relationship, especially when it comes to race.
Yes.
And I also understand that brainwash for the Western civilization and colonialism has played a big role in brainwashing our brothers here in Africa and also black brothers outside Africa.
Yes,
it's not
sir.
only in Africa.
Yes.
So, you know, we have a number of considerations that we can say that it made a person to choose what they chose in having a relationship with a white woman and you're a black person. You know, there are some we have personal considerations that they have about it. Some we can say they've been brainwashed. They have been told to believe that white women have are better. And we also have stereotypes that we have amongst black women.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know, these stereotypes were things that were developed by the oppressors. Remember, African Americans were enslaved, but the Africans in the continent were colonized.
Yeah.
These things were done with the same person, and he was trying to bring that supremacy to all the extent he would. He was trying to push it hard. There's this woman who is really explaining the dynamics and why there is a weird. This weird is an emphasis why there's a weird relationship between white women and black men. So without further ado, I want us to jump into this video, watch it, and then we will give you our critical analysis by the end of the video or during the video.
Yep.
So let's dive
in. This is the part one of a two-part series entitled Black Man, White Woman. Significantly, it was not entitled Black Woman, White Man because in the last 10 years, the statistics indicate that there is a significant increase in relationships between black men and white women and a significant decrease in relationships between black women and white men. With me to discuss this very volatile issue are two leading psychiatrists, Dr. Frances Welsing, a member of the psychiatric department of the Medical College at Howard University, and Dr. Alvin Poussant, a psychiatrist, a member of the Medical College at Harvard University, and author of the well-known book, Why Blacks Kill Blacks. To begin with you, Sister Welsing, why do you believe, basically, black men are becoming so significantly attracted to white women, or is it vice versa?
I'd like to turn it around. I think, first of all, that white women are seeking black men first. Some are attracted to white women, and I don't think that we can understand this phenomena unless we understand really what is the larger dynamic that is occurring not only in this society but in the world at large. And the way that I look at that phenomena is that number one, we are living within the context of a system of white supremacy, which is my definition of racism. Racism is a worldwide system of white supremacy, domination, and control. And all of the behavior that we see all over the world, whether it's the behavior of the black woman, the white woman, the black man, or the white man, is occurring within the dynamics of this system. And we can understand what is happening as far as the white woman, black man relationship and why that is on the increase. I think if we understand the need for the system to remain intact.
But Francis,
Okay.
you don't think that the black man has a special attraction toward the white woman?
Oh,
in
yes, he
America?
does. Yes, he does. He
Why
has,
is that?
well, he has been programmed historically to feel that, first of all, this is the woman who is the woman in the world, and this is a thing that has been denied him, you know, in terms of, let's say, male-female relations or sexual partners. The black man, at least in this area of the world, has been told historically, you cannot look at, you cannot touch this woman. And so at that level of social dynamic programming, yes, the black man has always felt, well, this is the one thing that I have been denied in this society. And so many black men, I think, for, you know, at one level, they are moving towards white women as white women move. White women are the major aggressors in this situation. But the black man is playing his role because he says, well, this is the thing that I've been denied. This is the thing that is going to be the great equalizer.
I think, though, that the need has sort of been exaggerated, because if we look at those statistics you just mentioned, actually in the past decade, even with the increase, there's only about 43,000 black man, white woman marriages. That's a very, very tiny percentage. That means about 2% of black men are married to white women. Now, if we had accepted the propaganda, that is the white propaganda, that all black men desire a white woman and they want to marry your daughter, you would expect the incidence of the marriages to really be increasing at a much greater rate.
I was going to ask, does it mean that that the fact that if we accept the fact that black men do feel that white women are preferable to black women, are we saying that their behavior in the context of standard behavior is normal or abnormal?
Well, I don't like to use those terms. I would prefer to understand the phenomena. For example, if we start labeling behavior, like, for example, homosexuals don't like to be called pathological, for one thing. And I think that it is more useful if we say, well, let us try to understand the phenomena of homosexuality, as opposed to saying, well, now that's sick, and then people get turned off and they don't spend time trying to understand the dynamic. In the same way, I don't want to look at the phenomena of, you know, cross-color sexual mating or marriage or whatever. And in terms of pathology, I would rather say, well, let's try to understand what actually is going on.
But you
and
call the
why
white woman the aggressor.
I say that she is aggressive because we live in the context of a white supremacy society in which white people are the dominant group. They are the people who control the power. We are the oppressed people. We are the people who are victims of that system. Just like, I mean, in terms of history, it was just a short 2 months ago in terms of the whole historical span that black men were being lynched for looking at a picture of a white woman. Do you see? And now we are told, well, now everything is opened up. Well, I want to understand, well, why is it that everything is opened up? I think everything is opened up since black men started talking about black power. You see, when black men start talking about black power, then that says, well, all right, maybe there will be a challenge to the system of white supremacy domination, not only in this area of the world, but all over the world. So the white supremacy...
Yeah. And we can see this woman is providing very, very serious allegations.
Yeah.
You know, she's saying that the white woman is a perpetrator of violence. She's saying that the white woman, the white people are trying to make Africans feel less of themselves.
Yeah.
And maybe Africans can amount to something when they marry the white lady.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a brainwash, bro.
It's a brainwash. It's a brainwash. That's something, I mean, that's something that they have always tried to do.
Yeah.
Because you see, even psychology says if a person denies you something, you tend to desire it much.
Yeah.
So historically, we Africans, or we generally black people, we were told that white people are so superior. Now there is that craving that people have. Now that we are being denied this, if you heard her saying that if a man was found looking at a white woman's picture, he's gonna get castrated or something like that. You know?
Lynched, burnt, bro.
Yeah. So if they are lynched, burnt, or castrated for doing that, it means that this is something that they will really desire, and they will ask themselves, why are these people not wanting us to have this? It means that they are important, you know. Yeah. So it creates that something like reverse psychology. If somebody denies you something, you tend to want it more.
Yeah.
So it happens with them. And there's also one point that I want to make that I also saw that she addressed, and I'm kind of trying to relate with, is that it is not that white men are the ones who are desiring it, but it is the white women who are attracted to black men.
White women are attracted to black men.
Yeah, attracted to black. So alluding to what she's saying, I can tend to recall there's an article that I saw saying that the world will reform and it will go to its original state. And remember, the first people in the world were Africans, were black people.
Wait, do you buy to that narrative?
I buy to it. Let me give you the context.
Okay.
I buy to it. The context is this. Africa was the cradle of mankind, right?
East Africa particularly.
Yeah, was the cradle of mankind.
Yeah.
So when we had human beings, we had black people as the first human beings.
Yes.
Everyone was black.
Yeah.
Now, due to movements of people and we had people who moved from Africa to other different places. When they moved to different places, they mutated.
Yeah.
And when they mutated, that's when we had white people.
Yeah.
And white people had to adapt to the places that they were.
Yeah, the cold climates, the polar.
Yeah.
But now Africans had to remain black.
Had to remain black. Yeah. Now when the world is going back to where it is, that's why you're seeing the white population keep on declining, the black population keep on increasing. However much they're trying to do it. And we have the sun rays that gets to black people, and people are afraid of this skin disease called melanoma. Yeah. That's why white women are rushing to black men to get these kids to protect their future. So
genetically.
Genetically. Yeah. So because we are viable, we are so viable genetically. Yeah.
So you think it's more of a strategy they're having?
It's more of a strategy. And even the government itself is promoting this in the sense that if in the past they never wanted black people to associate with white women, but today they are promoting that. Today they are promoting white women having black men, because that's the agenda. They want this race to stay, because when it remains itself, it will go.
Oh, they feel like with time they'll go extinct.
They'll go extinct.
And because their children are the ones to ensure their race continues.
Yeah.
So they want to try and blend in together.
Yeah.
It's like crossbreeding.
Yeah.
These people are so strategic.
Because they want to have that gene, the African gene, that gene that has the gene for melanin. Yeah, because it is genetically. Somebody can be white, but he has a somebody can be white, phenotypically, but he has a gene that protects him from the ultraviolet rays, the melanin inside them. So that's what they want. Even the child that they might have, they might be white, but they have the black gene.
The black gene.
Yeah.
This is so strategic of them, you know?
Yeah.
This woman, I think this woman has had a lot of it. And remember, this interview was done in 1973.
Yeah.
And whatever was done during that time is happening up to now. It's like 40 years down the line. 41 years to be precise.
Yeah.
Damn. Is it really 41? I think it's even more than 41. 1973.
1973, 2024. It's around 50 something.
50 years.
Yeah, around 50 something.
Damn. Let's continue watching this, bro.
The system says, all right, well, now what do we do to, get these people back in control? And what do we do to get them back in check? That is the black man. Well, we'll lay our ace trump card on them, which is a white woman.
In other words,
you see, which brings the black man then back within the context that the white supremacy system is going to work for you. See, we've denied you this, now you have it. But on close examination, in spite of all of the black-white marriages, the black-white sex that has occurred throughout history, in the last 500 years, there has been no serious tampering with the maintenance of white supremacy, certainly not through the bedroom activity. Do you see what I'm saying? But in other words, it throws people off balance.
So
in
the
other words,
the white woman is still, I think, in a position of psychological dominance.
Right.
And insofar as she is, that's a form of white supremacy, and that the black men are frequently responding to her dominant position. the fact that she is considered a superior status object in society. But getting back to this point,
Well, let me ask a question before
Yeah,
you
go
move to
ahead.
that. Then if we accept that, are we saying that the black men who marry white women are asking for dominance from a female?
No, the black men who are married by white women.
But
No,
the trend you continually
No, I think that they're looking for status.
the black men are looking
The
for
black
status.
men are looking for status whether they are aware of it or not. In other words, as long as you have white supremacy domination any place in the world, whether it's Brazil, whether it's Hawaii, whether it's Japan, any place, you name it, that as long as the people of color are the people who are oppressed, then when a marriage occurs, in other words, the dominator says, I will pick you amongst the victims who I dominate to marry you, then the victim says, oh goody, this means I'm in.
Well, that's true, but if I can ask this question.
Okay.
It seems the way you are framing your analysis that the almost total blame, if we can use that word, for interracial marriages is because of, one, white society vis-a-vis white supremacy,
Seeking to maintain itself.
and two, white women being the aggressors. You seem to be saying, and I'm asking a question, that black men are just blameless and they're sort of like the victims of something that they have no control over, or that they have no need to be married to a white woman for some perhaps pathological basis.
No, let's say, for example, if you set up the conditions for the development of a sadomasochistic relationship, then the masochist as well as the sadist is a part of that relationship, and they are playing roles that they have been conditioned to play. In other words, a person who is a masochist seeks out the sadist because then they could play their sort of dual game,
Mutual reciprocity.
their mutual reciprocity together. Now, within the dynamic of the system of white supremacy, you have, for example, many of the white women who are with black and other non-white men are actually, I believe, having a dialogue with white men.
How does that work?
See, the dialogue goes like this according to my analysis. First of all, the white women, we have the women's liberation movement, which is a dynamic of white females, okay? They are asking for liberation out from under the white male. All right, now within the dynamic of the white supremacy culture, you also have penis envy. In other words, the white men have been perceived as being dominant over the woman. And so the woman says, well, I wish I had a penis. Okay, so what does she do? She says, well, I'll go out and get one that's supposed to be more powerful than yours, but I'm going to control it because we are white and we control all of the non-whites. So she goes out and she selects, and all this is unconscious, you know, activity, if you will. She goes out and selects a non-white male, be he black or any other non-white. Then she is walking down the street, or they can go to the, you know, justice of the peace or the priest or be married. And anytime a white man sees that, she is communicating to him, see, I've got one because I am in control of this.
But I don't think we can, you know, generalize to that extent. I think that that's a theory. But it's getting back to the question when we present arguments that way is whether the relationship between black men and white women are pathological. Now, Frances said she doesn't like to think of it in that framework, but the fact is that a lot of psychiatrists have presented or said that interracial relationships in marriage stem from a type of negative psychological position or some type of pathology because of the racism in society. They'll say that the racism distorts people's minds so that frequently you'll get, say, a white woman attracted to a black man for the wrong reasons or for racist reasons. She may see him as inferior, that might turn her on, or she might see him as a black stud, that may turn her on. All of these are racist perspectives. Or the black man can get attracted to the white woman because she's supposed to be superior, and he wants to be part of that whiteness. In other words, she's sort of anointing him or helping him to feel a sense of self-worth by his involvement
Well, I wouldn't
with
argue
her.
with any of that.
But
yeah.
at the same time, I think that
let's look
we
at it
can't
this way.
say that this happens with everyone, and even if it does happen, that this is pathological. That
Well,
let's
there's
look
lots
at it
of
this
things
way.
motivating
Let's
people.
say, for example, white men and white women have many difficulties in terms of marriage, all right? I mean, there's a lot of alienation that is going on just within the white group itself, within the whole total context of the white supremacy system. Black men and black women have serious problems in terms of the marital relationship. Now, either we say that all of these people are sick because of, you know, various problems, or we can say, well, now let us look at the total behavioral phenomena that is occurring within a social system. let's not bother to label it, but let's begin to understand what is happening. Do you see what I'm saying? Because there are many, many problems. I wouldn't want to say that I don't think it's useful. At one level, we can say, all right, these are pathological relationships, the problems that black men and black women have. Or we can say that the problems that white men and white women have are pathological. But I don't think that, see, because once you say pathological, then,
which means sick.
Which means sick. Then people who can be helped by understanding the dynamic, they're turned off because they don't want to be labeled as sick, but they may want to understand the phenomenon.
Well, for purposes of analysis, let us assume.
Like, let's say everybody who comes to a psychiatrist doesn't want to be labeled as sick. They say, I have a problem. I don't understand how I am relating to this other individual and the product that we have that I don't want. Let me help me understand it so I can straighten it out. And this is where I'm coming from. I don't want to create a big thing about that.
At the same time, though, I think we can recognize certain things that, I don't know if we want to call them sick, but that are distorted. For instance, I've seen black men married to white women, and essentially they hate other black people, that they have sort of joined the oppressor and are actively anti-black. And
an expression of self-hatred.
That's right. It's an expression of self-hate for them to marry a white woman.
But now,
on the other hand, I see some black men who are married to white women who remain militantly black.
Well, couldn't that be a defense mechanism?
But there's a contradiction.
But being militant, let's deal with this. Some of our most revolutionary blacks have white women. Now, many blacks suspect, and it's an open secret, that their militance is simply a defense mechanism so that they can deal with their need for a white woman.
Well,
but look at it this way. Many of those so-called militants who are married to white women, I think it's because of the way that they have defined the problem for themselves. Many black people who a white person will say, well, that person is militant because the person happens to be saying black power. They are not really talking about the overthrow of white supremacy. They're talking about workers of the world unite, maybe. Do you see what I'm saying? But because they are black, they're saying, well, okay, I'm saying in terms of a whole humanistic struggle.
In other words.
They are talking, right. Do you see what I'm saying? So they don't perceive
integration, I think.
But they don't perceive a contradiction because the whole struggle of black people I would say until recently, has been defined as trying to get in to, we want to become a part of the society as though it is possible for people of color to become a part of the society. Now, some black behavioral scientists are saying, on the basis of having made an analysis that the system is one of white supremacy, in which none of the non-white people in the entire world, who happen to make up 9/10 of the total world population, none of the non-white people can actually integrate into the system of white supremacy because it is just that, maintaining white supremacy. Okay, so now within that context, then some black people are rethinking the position in terms of, now, if I am talking about the overthrow of white supremacy as a system worldwide, then what does it mean for me to not only marry, but for me to have sexual relationships with a person who, whether they are willing or not, are participating in the maintenance of white supremacy? And some of us are taking the position that if a white person really says that they like a black person or a non-white person, then they will abstain from sex and they will abstain from marriage because they perceive also their position within the white supremacy context is, as long as we have a system of white supremacy, then white people, when they relate to non-white people, are relating at a level of unequals. And until it's equalized, then something else is happening. Do you see what I'm saying? In other words, the non-white person who is in bed with a white person, thinking that they are bringing about a humanistic union, are really bringing about their further subjugation, because they are thinking in the act of sex that now we are one and now we are equal. And so when you find that those people who are in bed with white people, when they get out, like you said, they are negative, and you can make a diagnosis. If you see a black person being very, very negative...
bro, I think this woman is saying some things really important.
Yeah.
And she's telling them from the position of a black woman.
Yeah.
And also she's telling them in the position of an African. Yep. These are very, very important combination.
Yep. That's also an important combination in the sense that, you know, she has said something which is important, that even if we are saying black people, black men or white women are doing this to black men, we need to look at it at the point of what are the solutions to these things.
Yes.
I mean, if a white man continues marrying a white man, will the problem with, if a white woman continues marrying a white man, will the problem be still there? Or if a black man marries a white woman, will we still be having a problem there?
Yes.
Now we have a group of white men who prefer to marry white women because of self-hate.
Self-hate, they hate themselves.
Yeah, because of self-hate. And they believe that when they do this, they'll get the privilege, and most of them, they do it for status, because they'll see it as marrying upwards.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And also, for white women who want to gain masculinity, they feel like if they have a black man, they also, you know, they'll be...
Okay. What do you mean by a white woman wanting to gain
most of
masculinity?
Most of it is status.
Yes, bro.
Understand history that we black people, we have always been looked down upon. So if a white woman is having a white man,
Yes.
he will be seeing it as, no, we're just equals, we are all white, you know.
Yeah.
But some of them do this because when they date a black person, historically black person has always been looked down upon.
Yeah.
So in his mind,
everywhere in the world,
in his mind, he's
Yeah.
saying that, oh, I'm greater than this man because I'm white and he's black, you know,
Yeah.
in that sense.
Yeah.
So some white women might do that in that sense,
Yeah.
that they want to just feel good about that. Because
you know. Also, she was funny. The point she said that white men are having like small p, and black men are having a big P.
yeah,
And so she's thinking, marrying a black man is a way of satisfaction. You know, when I was asking you about the male masculinity thing,
Yeah.
the female masculinity,
yeah,
I thought you'd give me an answer relating to that. That was my thought. But it's funny, you know, it's true. If you want to know, this is a colonial mindset and a slavery mindset. Remember, during the slavery, they used to take the men with a good build, good structures, bone structure, all that. They will take the most well-built men, and they would use these men and crossbreed, you know,
them,
with white women. And then the men also would choose well-built women, African women, and so they will produce other children, children who would work harder in the farms, you know. It's just a colonial mindset. It's nothing different from what was there in the past. What was there is what has become now.
It has always been the colonial mindset, because in this sense, even if I'm looking at what is happening right now,
Yes.
in the Gambia,
In the Gambia,
we're having old white women.
nasty things are happening over there.
We have old white women who are coming for young
African men.
young energetic African men.
Yeah.
The same colonial mindset. They'll get those advantages.
Yes,
the
sir.
big P that you're talking about. They also go for those things, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. So most of it happens in that sense. And I like when she say that we need to look at things at the point of not a problem, but a point of how can we find a solution for this.
Yeah.
Because he tried to use an example of, you're going to a psychiatrist, you're going to seek for a problem.
Yes.
When a psychiatrist address it like, if the psychiatrist address it like it's a big problem, you realize that even the patient will focus on the problem rather than the solution.
That's the solution.
Yeah, so the objective of it is always just trying to find the solution.
And they are, you know,
With other black,
with
are
other
you
black
saying
people.
this is in all cases? I mean,
Not
you're
in-
sort of
no, I
making
don't
a
wanna say
political.
all. I
Okay,
don't
but you're sort
wanna
of making
say
a
all
political
and
statement.
every.
But you
saying
have to
that-
agree.
I'm saying
but-
that the
yeah.
act of sex is a political act.
Yeah.
Do you see? Just like
When
every
it's
other
between
act.
people of blacks and whites.
Every act is a political act, because when people relate, they are always relating on the basis of power. Do you see what I'm saying? Whether they are aware of that or not. You can never get away from that. And so even when people of different colors are relating, the question of power is brought into play. For example, the French, in terms of maintaining colonial domination in Africa, Arnold Toynbee has written about this, that they made it a policy, if the black man, you send him to the, the African who's in the colony, you give him a high school education and send him on to the university in Paris. He comes back and he says, all right, now I'm a Frenchman and I want to be free. I'm educated. I know as much as a colonizer. I want to be free. That you can cool him out by giving him a white woman. Do you see what I'm saying? And we see certain phenomena going on in the society today where black men who are married to white women are being given positions that black men who are not married to white women are not being given. Why? Because the white system perceives that that is a safe individual. Why? Because it is not only compromised in bed, but he is psychologically compromised. I mean, anytime you get in bed with somebody, sex is a very profound human act. And it has extreme psychological implications that spread into your, you know, what do you do in the area of economics? What do you do in the area of entertainment?
Why do we assume, though, that if a black man goes to bed with a white woman, he has to be assuming that she's superior, or he has to feel that?
He doesn't have to. She is superior.
Yeah, but suppose in his relationship with her, does he have to feel that he's coming from the inferior position? What about...
She can take him anytime that she wants.
What about just the biology of it?
If she gets angry with him...
What about the biology of it? That is, that he's involved in a sexual union that doesn't have political dimensions or meaning.
It does have political
even
dimensions.
to him psychologically.
Well, maybe if I'm saying what Dr. Welsing is saying, maybe she's saying that that's not conscious, but the dynamic cannot be eliminated on a logical basis. I mean, on a conscious basis, you can't say that unconsciously my behavior is not determined by something that I'm not aware of.
Okay,
like a lot of people say,
you're
well, this is
assuming
love.
that all black men then got this feeling of inferiority in them.
All non-white people feel inferior. See what I'm saying? All non-white people who are within the system and the dynamic and the power of the system of white supremacy, until they consciously work and struggle with themselves, and even then, are going to feel inferior because functionally we are inferior. Let's say you're a professor at Harvard, I'm a professor at Howard, physician, psychiatrist. I take the position that we are functional inferiors. In spite of that, even compared to the white person who has a grade school graduate degree. Why? Because within the political power system, they have more power to control what happens to their lives than you and I have to control in what happens to ours.
What about the fact that a lot of black men say that they are going with white women and so on because they're trying to get back at the system, or they're trying to get revenge, or this is really a hostile act, and it doesn't, in fact, that they see it as a confrontation with the white system, and not as something that they're succumbing to as an inferior person, that they're asserting, in a sense, their manhood, or saying they just have as much right to have a choice about the women that they want that white men used to have and still have. The white men can have white women, and they can have black women, they can have anybody they want. But black men were confined to black women, and they couldn't even have her when they wanted her.
Let's say this. Some black men say they're super fly. Some say they're shaft. Some say that they're super nigger and that they have power that they don't have. That's a fantasy. You see what I'm saying? We can say a lot of things. I can say, for example, I'm a psychiatrist and I'm free. Does that make it a case? No, it doesn't. The proof of what is it that I can do for myself? Can I protect my children? Can I protect anything that I call mine? The ultimate answer to that is no. So that we can say a lot of things. Black men can think that they're doing a lot of things. It was not black men who said that white women could come now into the black community and start picking up whatever black man they want. The black man didn't have anything to do with that. And if the white supremacy system tomorrow morning wants to turn it around and say all white women come home because it's essential to maintain white supremacy, all white women will go home.
But don't you think, for instance, that psychologically, if white women have been forbidden to black men by oppression, if the black man has access to the white woman, that will make him feel more psychologically free.
It will fool them more. Let's say, for example, if you tell me, for instance,
he said psychologically free.
Well, that's not, well, wait a minute.
He didn't say functionally free.
No, it's a fantasy, and then it's a psychosis. Do you
right?
see that?
What
right.
do you
In
mean
other
by
words, if you
psychosis?
are operating, just like they tell us in psychiatry,
That means a loss of contact with reality.
If you are functioning, if you are functioning on something that is not reality, then you've had it.
Well,
okay? Now, but this is something that the white supremacy system understands. You see what I'm saying? They understand. Well, now we programmed these victims to feel that if they get a white woman, they will have it. Like a black cat told me who was graduating from graduate school at Harvard, that marrying a white woman was a part of the Harvard degree. In other words,
I think this man has said a point. If the black man is forbidden to the white man by the system, you remember what happened in South Africa? What happened in South Africa is just a reflection. You know, so it was until 1994 when they gained their independence, you know, and we had these apartheid relationships were not permitted. We had buses, we had some homes. So it's as if the white person was some kind of shiny object, and finding a black man with a white woman would amount to very serious consequences.
Consequences, yeah.
You know. Also, remember we have people like Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah says he didn't know where to place himself, or rather, his parents didn't know where to place him.
Himself, yeah.
His father was Greek, and his mother was South African. Greeks are white, right?
Yep.
And so it was hard. He was neither black nor white.
Yeah.
So he found it hard to place himself. He didn't know whether to say he is superior or inferior. Now, because he is a child of a forbidden relationship, it becomes hard. The society has made it feel like, you know, we have these society constructs. I like to call it nominal society. There's a name I always try under nominal cultural narrative, where once somebody or a group of people decide that doing this is not okay, it becomes a law.
Yeah.
But you find that this law favors only the few. We shouldn't make laws based on their few. The white person, I don't feel like a white woman is such a privilege.
Yeah.
A black woman is a privilege. We have many successful white women.
Yeah.
We have many, black women. We have so many of them. We have Tyler, this Oprah Winfrey. We have Tyra Banks. We have so many of them.
Great ones, yeah, out there.
Seeing this conversation and how this woman is opening her eyes to whatever is happening, I'm happy. And somehow I'm not feeling okay because this gentleman is trying to overshadow what she's saying. You know, the gentleman thinks like the woman is so pessimistic. If that is my deductions, he thinks that the woman is so pessimistic, and the woman is only focusing on the negatives. But there's a saying that if you think of the negative, you'll always be right. Yeah. And that's my interpretation, bro.
I would like to say most of the things that the lady and the man say, both of them I kind of agree with them, because you find that most black men, I would say the word most black men really find that having a white woman is a privilege to them, because they are dating up. Yeah. They're not dating down. Yeah. Rather, they're saying that dating a black woman, they're dating down. Yeah. Also, some black men, now I'll say some black men date white women to get the privileges that comes with dating white people. You know, the advantages of having a white person close to you, so that you might avoid the things that comes. You know, United States is a crazy place.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No doubt.
And some men, the way she has said, confine themselves with white women. But even with this confinement, they also end up losing these white women. Like, the white woman have set some standard that a black man cannot get close to him. Yeah. But at the same time, a black man says that it's a win if he has a white woman. Yeah. Rather, it should not be the same case. Yeah. You know, we have some advantages that comes when a person who is not of color dates a black man. There are some advantages that it comes with, and history has put it out there. Yeah. There's some advantages. So I feel like it should not be like we are only seeing that if you date a white woman, it's like you are getting something important that you not get from any other woman. I'll tell you this. We are human beings. Yeah. If you date a woman or if you date a man because of the race or because of color, I know most of the things are being politicized the way it's being said. The way it's being said here. At the end of everything, you might have a non-functional relationship even with a black woman. Same can happen with a white woman.
A dysfunctional.
Yeah.
Yes.
So for me, I'll say that it's not a matter of dating a white woman, okay? But it's just finding somebody who you can confine with by yourself with the things that you want to do with them, rather than being politicizing everything.
No, yeah. Wow, that's a good analysis. maybe we continue watching what he has to say.
I'm really
will
in.
make them feel more psychologically free.
All right.
It will fool them more. Let's say, for example,
All right.
if you
Now, the
just
system
psychological.
has
Well, that's
programmed
not- well, wait a
us
minute.
to
It's like
think, just like it
No,
programs
it's
a black
a
woman to say, all right, if you
fantasy,
have a
and then
white man,
it's a
that really means
psychosis.
that you were in
Do you
nonsense.
see that?
Right.
Right. In
You see
other
what I'm
words,
saying?
if
Because
you
white
are
supremacy
operating just like
is
they tell us
going
to
That is a
on.
loss of context.
And
if you
white
are
supremacy will go
functioning,
on
if
and
you are
victimize
functioning
your
on
children
something
and
that
your
is not
offspring,
reality,
irrespective
then
of
you've
what you're
had it.
doing.
Okay.
And you're
Now,
bedroom
but this
true.
is something that
And
the
the
white
white
supremacy
supremacy
system
further
understands.
would like the
You see what I'm
non-white
saying?
and
They
the black
understand.
man
Well,
to
now we
think that
programmed
his phallus or
these
his penis, if
victims
you will,
to
is
feel
equal
that
to
if
an
they get a
M16
white
rifle,
woman, they will
which is
have,
what he
they will have
maintains
it. Like a
power with.
black
But
cat
for
told
instance,
me
you
who was
don't think
graduating
it's possible for
from graduate
a
school at
white
Harvard,
woman and
that marrying a white
black
woman was a
man
part of the
to
Harvard
be
degree. In other
involved
words,
in a
I'm
relationship
really
as
in.
individuals
Goodness.
without all of this
No.
stuff.
All
and-
No
and-
more than it is
but-
for a
All right.
black man
Now,
and a black
the
woman to
system
think
has
that they
Just
got
saying,
programmed
all
us
these
to
things
think
are
that, just
going
like it
on.
In
programs
other
a black
words,
woman to
when
say,
the
all right,
black
if you have a
man and
white
the
man,
black
that really
woman
means that
decide
you
that
were
they
in
are in
nonsense.
love, you know, all
You
those
see what I'm saying?
things
Because
that we
white
call
supremacy
love.
is
What we
going
call
on.
love is just that
And white
historic
supremacy will
programming,
go
you know,
on
what
and
parent we were
victimize your
tied to
children
and
and your
whatever
offspring
dynamic was
is
going on, and then we
irrespective
go
of
and
what
pick
you were
somebody
doing
who turns on those
in your
same
bedroom
feelings.
That's
activity.
true.
And we
And the
call
white
those
supremacy
feelings
system
love.
further
But that
would
doesn't,
like the
just because we
non-white
call it
and the
love
black
and then
man to
glorify
think
it,
that
doesn't mean that we
his
cannot
phallus or
understand
his
how
penis, if you
those
will,
feelings got
is equal to
programmed
an
in that way.
M16 rifle, which
And
is
so a
what he
black man and
maintains
a black
power
woman,
with.
But
particular
Francis, you
people
don't
who
think
have
it's
particular
possible
experiences,
for
meet on
a
a sunny
white
day,
woman
and they say we are
a
in love.
black man
And we
to be
want to go off and
involved in
get married.
relationship as
As though
individuals
white supremacy is a
without all this
major
stuff.
dynamic in the
No,
world.
no more than it is for a black
I
man
told
and a
you,
black
huh?
woman
We
to
don't
think.
have proof
I told
that
you,
most
this guy thinks the woman is pessimistic, and the woman is saying the reality.
Yeah, I mean everything which should be said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny that this is very funny. Think of this as a man, as a husband and a wife, you know. The husband now decides she wants to go for another chick, a chick of another race.
Yeah.
You know, this woman is she's giving her experience from a woman perspective
Yeah.
and as a black person perspective.
Yeah.
And because it is not white women who are going to look for white men, it is not black women going to look for white men.
Yeah.
It is black men going to look for white women.
Yeah.
And the people who suffer are now the black women because their men are out. They don't have the men. Right now, she's saying what is really, really being experienced. Bro, I told you, I've had these conversations where many African Americans are having problems with African American ladies.
Yeah.
And you know what happens, bro? You know what happens? You know, now the African Americans are not going for the white people. They are coming to Africa. They are coming for the African ladies. You might ask yourself, why is it coming for an African lady? And out there we have these well knowledgeable all things.
Yeah.
Why are they leaving them moving here? These women are telling these guys the truth. Like for instance, they're telling them the truth. And some people are finding hard to take the truth. You know? And that's just my thought. That's just my thought on why it's happening that way.
Yeah.
But I think the woman is just saying the story from her own perspective.
Yeah.
That does not make her wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's trying to tell a story, but again, giving the realities which the things which happen in the society, because a society in African society is different with the state society, because you find in African society, we are not like more interracially linked as compared to the states, because the states people are interracially linked. We have whites, we have blacks in the same place, but you find that in Africa
We don't have that.
yeah, it's something to do with tribal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see,
Yeah, in Africa it's tribalism, but
Yeah.
over there it's race.
race, yeah. So you find that this is something that she needs to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, because tomorrow your kid will go and date a white lady,
Yeah.
or a white guy will show an interest to your girl, you know,
yeah.
or vice versa. How will you deal with such kind of things? How are you going to advise this child?
Yeah.
Because they are raised in this society where,
Yeah.
and they need to be told these realities, things that happens with this. You know that if you date a white girl, this and this will come to you. This is the way the society will look at you. But at the end of the day, I feel like if it's from a sincere heart that they have fallen in love with each other, I mean, they're free to do what they can do, but they need to know the truth. Yeah, they have the right to date and do all the things, but they need to know the truth. They need to be told the truth of, you know, historically, you this and this and this and this.
This is the history you have.
Yeah, if you're a black man dating a white woman, just know the economic disparities that has been there between the blacks and whites, and the man is the person in any African household or any black household. The man is the person who have a lot of resources when it comes to money, masculinity, provision, protection. Now, when you take your wealth, you date a white person, it means that you're taking your wealth, sharing with the oppressor. They need to know that. So in this instance, when they know that, they'll say, okay, I've been told that this happened historically. This group did
there's a part where you've said taking your wealth, sharing with this. Somehow the women feel betrayed, the black woman feels betrayed because that person who's supposed to stand with her, that person who's supposed to at least, not even at least, they should be there, listen to her, feel her, is now chasing someone else. And this woman is giving that story from that perspective of an African American woman. And I like that you also introduced the idea of tribalism. In Africa, we marry in the lines of tribes. Yeah, somebody might say, oh, tribes, no, it's no more. In Africa, guys, we have the problem of tribalism. Africans are so much into this tribalism thing.
True.
In as much as US, we have the racism. Race. The social construct is based on the ideas of race mostly. You want to marry, you won't ask which tribe are you marrying from. Is he white? Is he Latino? Is he this and that? Here in Africa, the oppressor introduced tribalism. Tribalism was never there. They came here, they introduced tribalism. And then they went back to the US, of which they came from, and they said, now we are introducing racism. I'm superior than you. And here they introduce tribalism. Yeah, these people are very, very strategic, and so they're not so good, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, just like what I was saying before, understanding the society that we are coming through, we have always been divided.
Yeah.
And looking this on different sides, everyone has a right to date whoever they want, whether black, Latino, Indian, any race. They can date anybody they want, because that's you have the free conscience of choosing the person you want and you want to be with.
Yes,
but
sir.
They need to be told the truth.
Yes.
They need to be told the truth that historically this and this is what happened, and this is what happened, especially for people in the United States.
Yeah.
For example, for me as a person, I'm a Luo in Kenya. I belong to the Nilotic group. We have the Kikuyus. Okay. For now, back in Kenya, back in Africa, we are trying to remove all these tribal things. We are trying to understand each other. But if you go to for example, if you go to a parent's house today and tell them that I want to date a Kikuyu lady and you're a Luo man, for example, these are tribes in Kenya. For those people who don't know, the first thing your parent will ask you. Okay, for example, you're telling your parent, I have a lady. The first question they will ask you, where is she coming from? That's the first question. Tribalism,
Okay, I think we share the same problems, but these problems have taken different names and different colors. It's just a method of segregation, divide and conquer. It's all about divide and conquer. Okay, bro, let's finish up this video then.
Okay.
Black men are programmed that way.
Do we have 9/10 of the people in the world controlled by white supremacy?
That's true, but we don't have proof
well, wait
that
a
the
minute.
black
What does
man
that mean?
is programmed.
What does that mean?
That is, we don't have the statistics to validate black men all wanting to rush after white women.
Wait a minute. Look at. Let's be honest. If we look at what is the dynamic that goes on in the so-called black community or more amongst black people, what is still, in the quiet recesses of our thinking, what is considered as beautiful? Still light skin and still straight hair. Well, what does that mean? See, that just means that the black mother who trained her son, I have a friend who says that his mother programmed him down in Oklahoma, just looking out the front porch. To the black girl who was light skinned, straight hair, there's a beautiful girl. To the black skinned girl with the kinky hair, she wouldn't say anything. Do you see what I'm saying? So that kind of programming, this is what I'm saying, that all of this goes on.
Involved in love.
All of this is involved in love. Who is a suitable choice? What kind of woman does a professional man marry? You see, you can just survey. All we have to do is look at the phenomena of the social laboratory.
That's true.
And say, well, who are the people that particular people pick to marry? And we can understand that the dynamic of white supremacy is intact even when a black man and black woman are in bed. I've talked to black men who said when they're in bed with black women, they're thinking about Doris Day.
Oh, really?
I mean, well, see,
But Dr. Busan, you must admit, that there are
see,
some
and
black
this is
men
nothing to be ashamed of. We have got to stop being
who
ashamed
exclusively
of
don't
truth.
like any female who is not white. Now, I'm sure that there you would have to have one constant, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you know,
if a man who is black doesn't even look at a black woman and looks at nothing but white women, and then isn't that significant? I mean,
yeah,
wouldn't that be significant enough to be a non-generalization?
That's significant, but see, I don't know if we can relate it all as clearly to sort of political, you know, the white supremacy.
See,
for instance,
okay.
let me take it down to a personal level. Suppose something is operating like say the black man and his relationship to his black mother or to his black father, where he develops blocks against black women, and then he generalizes it all to other black women, and then he gets involved with a white woman. Now, that doesn't mean that he's necessarily indulging in any form of white supremacy, necessarily.
He's not
That is,
indulging in white supremacy.
you can't assume that
He's
his
indulging in
rejection of
victimization.
his black mother is because she's black. He may be rejecting her for all sorts of other psychological reasons.
Let's go down
see?
and look at that. Let us look
And
at
that the white woman is just happens to be
Wait a
there
minute.
where he
See,
can
but this is
on.
very common phenomena amongst our people.
May I interrupt you? We're going to continue this next week, and we don't want to lose it. Next week, we're going to continue part 2 of Black Man, White Woman, and a couple of things we're going to discuss with our same panelists will be why so many prominent blacks marry white men and why so many prominent black females in particular marry white men. To begin this second part of what was a very exciting first part, I'd like to throw the question out. What has the increase in relationships between black men and white women done to the relationship between black men and white women, in black men and black women?
Black women. Well, I think first we should say that, you know, there's interracial marriages that take place between black women and white men too. And that's a whole area because it seems that black men always get the focus of the interest and the attack, which is interesting because I think the society, white supremacy, has been concerned mostly with the black man, white woman. So I think that's the reverse of that, the white man, the black woman, also is a subject. There's no question, it seems to me, that black women, from what I can see, all over, very, very upset and threatened by the growing relationships between black men and white women, and that they oppose it. Now, from the black man's standpoint, I hear a lot of brothers say over and over again that first it was the white man who told them they couldn't go out with white women. Now it's mainly the black woman who's telling them that they can't go out with white women, so that they still feel oppressed. Now, for whatever that's worth, I think that's an important point psychologically for the black man, because is the black woman in this, is she more concerned with her control over black men, see, or is she concerned with white supremacy and interracial relationships in general? Because if black women are concerned in general, then they should attack just as much, I think, the white man, black woman combination.
But hasn't the black woman, to some extent, because the statistics have reversed. These statistics for black women, white men has decreased by the same percentage that the statistics for black men, white women has increased. Yeah. So obviously the black woman
has more cause for concern at this point.
Well, maybe she has more awareness, more consciousness, more cause for concern. Maybe her concern is not due to the fact she's threatened. Maybe her concern is due to the fact that she's just politically more sophisticated and more conscious of what black people ultimately may have to do, and that is unify themselves.
Well,
let me just add this, that I think that the black woman's concern is related to, let's say, perhaps her survival as a woman or her functioning as a woman. That, and hopefully, I hope it's beyond that, the change in the statistics. But I think that, let us say, black men after the age of 15 are decreased in the population relative to the number of black women. Where are they? They're in Vietnam, they're in prisons, and they're dying from various causes at earlier ages than white men comparably. So that, let's say, there are a number of women, black women, who are going without adequate spouses or male partners to relate to. So probably, instinctively, black women are concerned about that. Historically, white men have not been interested in black or other non-white women, be they Japanese, Chinese, Indian, or whatever. They have been interested in sexually exploiting black women, but not really taking them to the altar, let's say, to marry them or to really fully respect them. So perhaps black women are responding to that. But I think that what is key is really what is happening to blacks, because I see the thrust of white women sexually aggressing against the black man, or from the other side, the thrust of the white man sexually aggressing against the black woman, that this produces a division between black men and black women that is going to contribute.
I think the greatest sign of love an African man, an African American man can show to the people he loves, to the continent, Mother Africa, is by appreciating our own women and not thinking that they are not amounting to nothing.
Yeah.
Not thinking that if we marry them, if we marry the white person is when we amount to something. It's just a brainwash, man. You don't need a white lady to succeed in life. You're not afraid of going to their parents. You're not afraid of being banished.
Yeah.
It's not like India where they marry using the caste system. Africa, there's not that caste system. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is cool. If you find yourself that you can do it with a black lady, the black woman, with an African woman, African descent, that's, I think, there is no issues with that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, rather that you need to know that when you date a white lady, it's okay, you have the right to date who you want, but there are some things that you need to be taught.
After watching this video, I kind of saw plenty of truth in what the sister was saying, and also what the brother was discussing. However, I can deduce that not all African Americans are programmed to follow the black woman, to follow the white woman. But it's true, the arguments the sister was giving is true. The history is true. Everything she was saying is true, but not the whole thing, you know. Also, the brothers tend to, because the brothers are the ones who are marrying white women, they kind of was giving the story in their own perspective, the perspective of a male African American. But the sister was giving the story in the perspective of a black woman. This is something we need to understand here. It is black women. It is black men who are going after white women. It is not the vice versa, according to the gentleman. And also, the lady said that with everything that was happening back there, even in Senegal, did you know about the Senegal system of administration was the assimilation? We had the assimilation. We had the direct rule of British. They had the direct rule and the indirect rule. So in Senegal, for example, people like Leopold Sédar Senghor was assimilated. You know, the French were coming and they were taking you to their country, France. They would give you the education and they will teach you their language. They'll make you forget your African language and you would absorb their French language. You see, this is one way of abandoning your culture. And these people are so strategic, man. They know what they're doing. And so when a black man was realizing and was awakening, he realized, oh, this white person is not a god. He's just human like me and you, you know. The white man said, okay, you think you know a lot, you think you are reawakened. Okay, I'm going to give you a white lady. Now they broke their own laws. The white man broke his own law. And they started allowing the white women to be married by the black women. But not just any other black women. They took the best fruits in the tree and gave it to the white women. Those men who could have amounted to something great to the black women were taken by the white women.
Exactly.
You see what was happening? And this is what was making this sister really much worry about this. marrying a white person till date is seen as a symbol of status. What do you think, brother?
Yeah, to some people it seems a symbol of status. We have people who, like, generally they have it in a genuine way, like, okay, I'm having this lady here, although she's white, but I kind of have some vibe with her, so I'ma just date her. We have people who also do it because of the status. But all in all, you're a black person dating a white person. Okay, we don't have a problem with that. You have your preference, you have your choice, you have your everything. But one thing that I'd like to say that you need to know, that we are not viewing it in the same way, because the system in America needs to remind you as a black person that we have always been looked down upon. And anytime you try to engage with a person who is an oppressor, although I know these things happened long time ago, but still today we have systemic racism.
It is.
Things which still affects black people. So if you're going in relationship with a white lady, what it means that as a man who is working, who is being paid well, because you know, for you to have a white lady, especially in corporate America, you need to be a man who is earning well.
Yes, sir.
So it means that your property, your wealth and everything, you'll be taking to this woman, you'll be giving to this woman. You need to know. And looking at
your energy and wealth.
Yeah, looking at the economic disparities that have been between the blacks and white, and black people have been oppressed economically. So again, you're trying to take the wealth, giving it to a white woman, developing this family, because as a man, it is by nature you're the person to provide, right?
Yes, sir.
But on the other side, I mean, I don't want to take sides, but on the other side, I'm going to say that if it's genuine, like you're a person who feels like you want to date a white woman, and you feel like you have the vibe and everything is natural, it's not about the economic status, it's not about anything, you can go and get it. This life is short, you know.
Yeah, that's true, guys. And that's all. Yeah. I think black men should stay loyal to their white women, because when you said that white and black couple, when they had a conflict, the white woman decided to call his man the N-word. I think the most hurtful thing that can happen to a black person in the US is calling them the N-word. So guys, thank you for watching the video. Kindly check out Eugene from Kenya. He's a well-spoken African YouTuber. Yeah, he makes good content like the one I do. He's called
Eugene from Kenya / Eugene Docu Stories.
You can call him Eugene from Kenya, because come to think of it, he's from Kenya, and I'm also from Kenya. So Eugene from Kenya / Eugene Docu Stories. Either of the way, if you search, you'll find him over there. Check his channel, subscribe, and also remember to subscribe to AFK Evans from Kenya.
You can also super chat my brother. You can send super thanks to him. He's a great guy. He's doing a great content out there. Yeah, all support to him, brother.
So see you guys in the next video.
Yep.
Remember to check out my brother's channel and subscribe.
See ya.